Ōtani Yoshitsugu was a famous samurai hailing from the Sengoku period. He was extremely skilled in warfare, and there is even a legendary tale that Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the de facto ruler of Japan, once said about him, "I want to entrust 1,000,000 soldiers to Yoshitsugu and let him fight the enemy." The Leper Samurai possessed a unique ability, known as the extraordinary talent of military strategy vision, which involved analysing various elements to understand the terrain and predict the enemy's movements. Otani Yoshitsugu has been romanticized in poetry and fiction as Ishida Mitsunari's heroic and talented friend. This is his story. Yoshitsugu's ancestry and origins remain lost to the mists of time. He was born in the year 1558, and his father was said to be a retainer of either Otomo Sorin, the daimyo of the Otomo clan, or Okaku Roshikata. According to folklore, when Yoshitsugu was but 15 years old, he became a page to Hideyoshi at his friend Ishida Mitsunari's recommendation. He would act as a human shield to his master Toyotomi Hideyoshi in order to protect his lord from losing his own life in the heat of battle. Thus, he learned much due to hearing Hideyoshi's orders being shouted from the battlefield, and he was also skilled in the military arts, being willing to defend his lord to the end. The first recorded battle Yoshitsugu took part in was said to be the siege of Miki in the year 1578. Hideyoshi, being one of Oda Nobunaga's senior generals at the time, had to subjugate the Harima province. Hideyoshi would take all the land without bloodshed. However, Besho Nagaharu was insulted over having to submit to Hideyoshi, who was born a commoner. Nagaharu took a stand at Miki Castle and was besieged by Hideyoshi's troops. The defenders were starved until Nagaharu committed seppuku in exchange for the lives of his troops. Yoshitsugu would also take part in the siege of Takamatsu in the year 1582. Mori Teramoto was the grandson of the great warlord Mori Motonari. Due to this, he had inherited an enormous kingdom, but he soon came into conflict with Oda Nobunaga, who sought to expand his own dominion and was quickly becoming the most powerful man in the country after a series of successful battles. Hideyoshi, Nobunaga's senior general, would lay siege to Takamatsu Castle, which was controlled by the Mori clan. The vassal of Mori Teramoto who held the castle was named Shimizu Munharu, a samurai military commander. Hideyoshi would opt to divert a nearby river to surround and flood the castle. He also constructed towers on barges from which his gunmen could keep up a constant rate of fire and be unhindered themselves by the flooding. The long-lasting rain would swell the river and rendered Takamatsu Castle as a solitary island. This made the provisions of rice for the garrison army decline by cutting their supply lines, and Mori's support troops were unable to move. Knowing his cause was lost, Munharu, the Mori commander, rode alone into the middle of the artificial lake created by the flooding and committed seppuku in view of both armies. During this time, Yoshitsugu would stay close to Hideyoshi, making sure he was protected from enemy gunmen and archers. While the siege of Takamatsu was taking place, Hideyoshi's lord Oda Nobunaga was betrayed by his most trusted general, Akechi Mitsuhide, and was slain at the Honnoji incident, along with his eldest son, Oda Nobutada. After Nobunaga's death, Hideyoshi rushed to avenge his lord and defeated Akechi Mitsuhide at the Battle of Yamazaki, in which Yoshitsugu fought in. Mitsuhide was defeated and was later killed Although Mitsuhide was dead, Nobunaga's remaining sons and generals would all crave his power and scrambled to assume his mantle. It was during this time that Yoshitsugu rose to prominence in the court of Hideyoshi. Shibata Katsue, one of the late Nobunaga's senior generals, supported Nobunaga's son, Oda Nobutaka, to succeed him as the most powerful daimyo in Japan, and was at odds with Hideyoshi, as he was allied with Oda Nobukatsu during that time. This would result in the Battle of Shizugatake in the year 1583. Yoshitsugu's involvement with the Toyotomi faction during the battle is shrouded in myth and legend, leaving his actions uncertain. One narrative suggests he employed his cunning to persuade one of the enemy's samurai generals to surrender prior to the battle, while another portrays him as a valiant warrior on the front lines, wielding his formidable spear with skill. The result of the battle was a Toyotomi victory, and Shibata Katsue would commit seppuku along with his wife Oichi. The fortress was then set on fire, and the corpses were consumed by the flames. It has been romanticized that during this time, Hideyoshi allegedly said the following about Yoshitsugu: "Give me 1,000,000 troops, and I would love to see him guide them." What is certain about Yoshitsugu's service is that he was appointed as a Minister of Justice in the year 1585. By this time, he had reportedly earned recognition as one of the elite members of Hideyoshi's inner circle. Yoshitsugu and Mitsunari joined Hideyoshi for a soak at Arima Onsen, a place of natural beauty and hot springs, in the year 1585. During this visit, Yoshitsugu reportedly fell seriously ill, sparking a famous tale regarding the cause of his affliction. In the year 1586, while Yoshitsugu remained in Osaka, he personally intervened to quell a riot, impressing Hideyoshi by allegedly personally slaying 1,000 men. However, the splattered gore and blood led to an infection. Another legend also emerged of Yoshitsugu during that time. He would apparently seek blood from living beings in the city as a cure for his illness. Historians have suggested that he may have been sick since the Battle of Shizugatake 2 years prior, with his symptoms manifesting later. Although historical records are vague about his illness, popular belief is that he became a leper. After he fell ill, Yoshitsugu's history diverges into two significant narratives. One alleges that Yoshitsugu accompanied Ishida Mitsunari on the Kyushu campaign in the year 1587. There, he assisted in leading 12,000 troops with remarkable ease. Hideyoshi would conquer Kyushu, and its leader, Shimazu Yoshihisa, would submit and become a Buddhist monk. In recognition of his service, Yoshitsugu was granted the lordship over Tsuraga Castle, assuming the role of a local magistrate. In the year 1590, Yoshitsugu joined Mitsunari for the Odawara campaign, where Hideyoshi sought to eliminate the Hojo clan as a threat to his power. Hideyoshi dispatched one of his senior retainers, Ishida Mitsunari, on an expedition to reduce the outlying castles still loyal to the Hojo clan. This would result in the siege of Oshi. After the castle refused to surrender and held off numerous attacks from Ishida's forces, Ishida tried to do a copycat effort and flood the defenders using the same method that Hideyoshi used at his famous siege of Takamatsu. Despite Ishida's impressive construction of 28 kilometers of dikes, the castle still held for over a month, but eventually surrendered. Oshi Castle gained fame from the siege as the floating castle. Yoshitsugu was present at the siege, although specific details of his involvement remain elusive. He is also said to have taken part in the Korean campaign, and was in the naval force during this time. The invasions were launched by Toyotomi Hideyoshi with the intent of conquering the Korean peninsula and China proper. Many naval engagements would take place, and during the war, Japan quickly succeeded in occupying large portions of the Korean peninsula. Another legend emerged about Yoshitsugu during this time. Upon his triumphant return from Korea, Yoshitsugu was hailed as a hero and received a warm welcome from Hideyoshi at Osaka Castle. During a banquet, Hideyoshi graciously invited Yoshitsugu to share tea. As the evening unfolded, an unfortunate mishap occurred. Yoshitsugu's nasal mucus tainted his tea. Overcome with embarrassment, Yoshitsugu prepared to depart until Hideyoshi intervened. Declaring his own thirst, Hideyoshi requested the same tea bowl, expressing confidence in his vassal's craftsmanship. With tears welling in his eyes, Yoshitsugu witnessed Hideyoshi's act of acceptance, sealing his unwavering loyalty to the Toyotomi family in profound gratitude. A less popular but plausible alternate narrative portrays Yoshitsugu confined to his bed due to his ailment. Apparently, Yoshitsugu's illness had progressed to a severe stage, rendering him bedridden for 5 or 6 years, without straying far from his residence. His weakened condition stopped him from undertaking arduous journeys or participating in military campaigns. It is noted that he ventured out of his home only once in the year 1598 to commemorate Hideyori's court introduction, who was his lord Hideyoshi's son, during which he received provisions from a frail Hideyoshi, a gesture amid his ongoing battle with illness. As Yoshitsugu succumbed to the ravages of leprosy, his complexion took on a ghastly look, earning him the name Whiteface in popular accounts. The uncharted periods of Yoshitsugu's life leave a gap of 20 to 30 years, often filled with anecdotes and speculation. Among the uncertainties lies his friendship with Mitsunari. As legends suggest, they met in their youth while serving under Hideyoshi. However, discrepancies in their ages cast doubt on the romanticized narratives of their close companionship, further shrouding Yoshitsugu's story in mystery. Legend has it that Mitsunari and Yoshitsugu forged a deep bond in their early years serving Hideyoshi, mutually admiring each other's wisdom and character. A renowned tale recounts an incident during a tea ceremony at Osaka Castle in the year 1587. Despite his illness, Yoshitsugu partook in the ceremony, leaving a trace of pus in the tea bowl after his sip. In adherence to tradition, he passed the bowl to the next attendee. Each guest hesitated, but dutifully followed suit. However, when the bowl reached Mitsunari, he consumed it in its entirety without hesitation, praising its exquisite flavor without any hint of aversion. Hideyoshi would soon die in the year 1598, and 2 dominant factions arose, each with its own formidable leader. Tokugawa Ieyasu reigned supreme in terms of rank, seniority, reputation, and influence. He held sway over a multitude of lords in eastern Japan, who pledged their unwavering loyalty to him. Conversely, Ishida Mitsunari rallied support from the loyalists of the Toyotomi clan and lords hailing from western Japan, forming a formidable opposition to Tokugawa's authority. Ieyasu's side was known as the Eastern Army, while Mitsunari's side was known as the Western Army. After Hideyoshi's demise, Yoshitsugu apparently devised a plan to align himself with Tokugawa Ieyasu, viewing him as the more powerful ally. In the year 1599, he mobilized his forces and marched alongside the Tokugawa troops towards Tarui Castle. Meanwhile, Mitsunari awaited at Sawayama Castle and extended an invitation to Yoshitsugu to join his cause. Despite his blindness caused by illness, Yoshitsugu was taken aback upon encountering armed soldiers upon his arrival, fostering a silent resentment towards Mitsunari. Nonetheless, Mitsunari introduced him to his loyal vassal Shimasakon, whose perspective shifted Yoshitsugu's perceptions of the Western army. Despite his inclination to remain allied with Ieyasu, believing Mitsunari's cause to be futile, Yoshitsugu ultimately succumbed to Mitsunari's persuasion and defected to the Western army, albeit for reasons undisclosed. Folklore would have everyone believe that despite being aware of the doomed nature of the cause, Yoshitsugu could not sever his bonds of friendship. Therefore, he integrated his forces along with his sons into the Western army. On October the 20th, in the year 1600, Ieyasu received intelligence that Ishida Mitsunari had positioned his troops defensively at Sekigahara. The following morning, as dawn broke on October the 21st, the Tokugawa advance guard unintentionally stumbled upon Ishida's army amidst the lingering fog from the earlier rain. Initially concealed by the dense mist, neither side was immediately aware of the other's presence. Startled by the unexpected encounter, both factions quickly withdrew, heightening their vigilance of each other's proximity. As the wind dispersed the fog, unveiling the positions of both armies, final commands were issued, and the battle ensued. Yoshitsugu led an army of 6,500 men during the battle, and was winning against Todo Takatora's contingent of soldiers, fighting for the Tokugawa cause. According to one source, Yoshitsugu was aware that Kobayakawa Hideyoshi was going to betray them and join Tokugawa Ieyasu's side, but he was powerless to stop it. Yoshitsugu strategically maneuvered his army to monitor Kobayakawa's movements, probably to mitigate the potential impact of the anticipated betrayal on his allies. When Kobayakawa's forces, numbering 15,000, descended from the mountains towards the west, Yoshitsugu's troops positioned themselves as a barrier to their advance. Despite possessing a formidable force of skilled warriors, Yoshitsugu found himself in a precarious position during the initial clash, as his forces were already engaged with the eastern forces, led by Todo Takatora, who was then reinforced by the Kobayakawa charge. Caught between the relentless assaults of two warlords, Yoshitsugu's defences faltered under the overwhelming numbers. Two narratives survive about his final moments. In one, knowing he faced defeat, he sliced off his own head and instructed his retainer to hide it so it could not be discovered by the enemy. In the other, Yoshitsugu, reportedly blind at this point, said this to his men: "Is it lost?" When one of his most trusted retainers said yes, it is lost, Yoshitsugu asked him to cut his head off. Yoshitsugu was then beheaded by his retainer, who then committed seppuku. Yoshitsugu remains revered for his unwavering samurai ethos and commitment to his responsibilities. His tragic demise amidst overwhelming adversity stands as one of the most enduring legends of the Battle of Sekigahara. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all soon for another History Profile.